Hey everybody, this is Rob, and I have a quick little demo here for you in your boarding process on how to get your brain warmed up, how to figure out where to put the camera, and how to just experiment by moving the camera in different locations on the set to understand that you have a lot of options. So the first thing when we're boarding, we always want to first, of course, identify your story point. That is the first thing in having clarity in your storytelling and understanding what you have to tell is, well, what am I going to show? What's my story point? What's the idea here? And then, well, it goes to the next question of, well, how do I stage this? What's my composition? How will this look? And how do I want my audience to experience this moment in storytelling? So I have a quick little simple prompt. A guy was walking his dog. The dog saw a squirrel and chased it up a tree. So we have a very simple idea where a dog has now treated a squirrel. What might it look like? If I'm not really sure where I want my audience to look, I'm going to draw the most generic proscenium staging right here, where I have equal weighting of the man here, the dog, and the squirrel in the tree. And I'm not going to answer the story point of where I want our audience to look first, but let's first play around with the camera on the set. So if we draw an overhead view first, this is sort of a helicopter view or a bird's eye view. We have our guy right here and our dog here and our squirrel. If we add in a camera and a field of view, what might that look like? And again, this is just getting your brain warmed up. It might look like this. We have a profile, we're closer to our guy, we get a better sense of how he's feeling emotionally. So what if we bring the camera around to the front and do a 3/4 shot? A lot clearer. We can see his emotions more clearly because we see his face more clearly. So that's just a great little demo of understanding from a profile to a 3/4 what that can do. What if we want to see the dog? We'll bring the camera over here to the dog, and it might look something like this in a profile. And if we bring the camera around to a 3/4, it's a little scarier, a little bit more visceral, it's a little more in the camera, and it might actually have a stronger story point. But right now, we still haven't made the clear point, which is the dog and the squirrel. So if we go back to our main setup, we have our dog and our man and our squirrel, again, equally weighted. We can kind of, our audience can basically look between these three elements right here. So if we really want to curate the experience and tell them exactly where we want to look, try bringing the camera up over our guy's shoulder here. And in the overview, it might look like this. I'm making sure I'm over his right shoulder so that we don't cross that camera line, meaning we want our guy to be on screen left and our dog and squirrel to be on screen right. And that might look something like this right here. And in a shot like this, if we're thoughtful about the rest of the set and the buildings, we can have all these elements help guide our audience's eye to look exactly where we want to look. We already have this natural element of his arms and the leash pointing to the dog. We have these roof lines of the houses going in perspective, pointing to this information. Same thing on this side here too. And even the ground plane with our grid is pointing in this direction to this stuff right now. So basically, we're telling the audience, look right here. This is where it's happening. That's where the action is. And because we're shooting on a rear 3/4 of our guy, we're not seeing his face. Everything, even his eye line, if we could see his eyes, are looking in this direction. So this is probably the best way to tell this piece of the storytelling. And we incorporate our guy and our dog and our squirrel, but the weight of the action is right here. So try that out, explore your storytelling before you make a final decision, but always ask yourself first, what story point am I trying to tell? Peace out.